Thank you. Recording.
Can you see this?
Yes.
All right. I can't record on my iPad right here, guys. So
I am recorded.
I would like it if there's at least 3 people recording.
Yeah, I am recording as well. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're
one.
My new Q6 days. Just
Yeah.
for the record.
We got 2 new
Just for the record.
coming up too.
We're still working on the ideas and trying to be able to record directly to YouTube. You know, as you know, I give these little classes that we're doing, like impromptu classes, things like that.
Nashif,
it's really hard to keep a schedule
Mike,
when
smile.
you know you get a download.
Mike.
Yeah. Who is that? Very nice.
Yours are beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful, your son.
You see it? Oh,
Yes.
now you can see it.
Your son is beautiful.
It keeps coming up. Let me try to put the video on the top here.
No, you want to say hi?
Hola. Hi, everybody.
There we go.
Hi.
All right, you're being spotlighted, Yosin.
Hola, Kike. ¿Qué tal?
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Crystal.
It's nice to meet you. Thank you for doing wonderful work.
As well.
You will just hold it up.
So, Yosan, are you doing these infinity devices, you know, and I'm just wondering how easy it is for you.
It's perfect. It flow like it's like you're doing it. I'm just flowing with it. No problem.
You're just following the path, right? It's just easy.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy.
Well, good. We need.
No problem.
I need people such as yourself that have made these IQs and you know just know how to twist them and things like that.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, if you could show a video or something, you know, of your version of how you do it, you know, because yours might be slightly different than mine. It doesn't make it wrong, you know.
I don't know if it's slightly different. The only thing that I usually change is that I add a construction. Like if I did this for the Q6, right? So,
I like that.
Yeah, so it took me some going to the toy shop of the kids and collect the bagels and the connectors is hairpins.
And when you realize that the shapes do matter, all right, the shape and the openings do matter, you can also look up the Roman dodecahedron that they had. They used to have little like stone or metal devices that were similar in the size and shape that you have, except instead of having circles in the center, they would actually have, it would be a dodecahedron that was being put together, which is the symbol of Aether, the shape of Aether.
Yeah, anything that you will point me to, I will draw it in a way that is more comprehensive, that people, my good part is that I draw, physically draw it in a way that people can comprehend. They look at the drawing and then the comprehension is inside the drawing, there's a comprehension that makes it more possible.
Yes, and that's the idea of the Infinity Project, is to simplify. And you guys are doing a fantastic job. And, you know, the more devices that we get out there and we can show people, you know, just the average person can make these things. You don't have to be a nuclear physicist in order to make them. And, you know, that's kind of like the intimidating factor with, you know, like the Keshe Foundation or some of the bigger words that are being used out there. You know, they are just words. you know, when all we really need to express is the shape.
So, you know,
Good job.
Mike,
Thank you very much for sharing.
Mike, I just wanted to share with you that we have the project of making a plasma community. Have you been informed of that?
You have to say that again.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just on the making of the plasma community.
Hmm.
Okay, and Josa, myself, and Crystal here, and all the people here around, we are working in so many different businesses so that we can really engage on the founding of plasma communities all around the world. And Crystal has got a very, very beautiful project, unbelievable. I never seen something like that. And it's all structured, it's finished, and we are working on different dimensions of the, you know, so we can get the funding, and of course the funding for your project, which is our project as well, and but different, you know, with I mean, we have really to talk seriously about it. I think Crystal can explain more about it, about the project and what.
Oh, okay, Mike. I can do as well.
The mic.
Yeah.
The presentation. Okay, I had a year 2001 vision, and the vision is to build a spiritual intelligence center for humanity to get the tools for ascension. And it comes from of a 6-star spa resort, luxury uncompromised, because we want to attract. Am I? This is recorded. Am I to talk about all this?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. The center, it's 6-star spa resort, is supposed to attract the Illuminati, the leaders of the planet, the so-called role models, the celebrities, musicians, to come and get themselves pampered in a spa resort, in a holistic spa resort. So in doing so, they will be
Influence.
That's the word.
Influence.
We will be grappling with subliminal suggestions, and what they've been doing to us through the television, radio, and all that. We will be giving it back to them that way when they are relaxed, sleeping, and they are having themselves pampered. They will get this waves, this vibrational frequency that will help them open up the synapses in their consciousness that would remind them of who they truly are, the I am that I am, the mighty I am presence. So then also we are also looking into using devices and technology to help them, to assist them calibrate their imbalances and get rid of their toxins and implants and controllers and whatever that is artificially planted into their consciousness, so then they become whole again. So that is another form of healing. And then when they do, then it's a lot easier for them to lead the planet into the right direction with the right.
Because they finally can experience peace instead of fear.
Exactly.
You see, so that's the way it is. And then we are not going to start by this very huge project if we don't have the funding, but we can start for very small community that can grow up. And but the context is going to be the same. It's constructing or building up the devices and teaching people for free or for the minimum cost, so that and even they can come and live there and something like this. So we are starting now, isn't it? Right? We are getting the funding, and we like to help you, Mike, and everyone else that even Josen has offered. Josen, can you speak about who you are? Because Josen paintings are worthy of $1 million. So he is making paintings and devices for us for the sake of the new project. And I think between all of us, we can really quickly get funding and get the project running.
Yeah, if
All right.
able to get some permission here to share screen, I am going to share screen of the presentation of the escalating factory. That's what I call it. Escalating is coming from the word Asclepius. Asclepius is the Greek god of healing. Yeah, I'm going to share screen now, Mike, with your permission. Yeah, okay, so share screen. This is a presentation, multimedia presentation that I have done and designed myself when I was doing my Master of Science degree.
Crystal, I'm having a hard time understanding you. I've got a, it sounds like water in the background. Somebody splashing water.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm putting the thing is, right. I'm going to have to take the volume down, but I can't get in there, so I'll have to. Okay, I'll have to do something. Properties. Just give me a moment. Bear with me. I'm going to put that. Right. Okay.
Hold on, let me see here.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't do the presentation. Right, I have to stop talking then. I'll just show you the visuals very quickly. Sorry about the sound.
Yes,
Yeah.
Quick overview.
I can't get rid of the sound. Yeah. Can you hear the soundtrack? Okay, there are 4 elements here. We have the like we can build the centers in very cold places. When it's snowing like crazy outside, we have a tropical spa resort inside, like a huge big what you call greenhouse. That's right. So the greenhouse will then be built to encase a tropical spa resort inside. So inside it's like that. I'm going through it very quickly.
That is beautiful.
Thank you. So this is one way
So
of
beautiful.
luring the leaders of the planet to come and be pampered, and at the same time you zap them with those waves of ascension in their brain waves and setting them straight and back on track with ascension for humanity.
Yes, we are very much so on the same page.
Yeah.
You know, as far as developing these cities and these little villages of light, as they call them.
That's right, Mike. Mike, what do you think of this? I'm going to build about 32 chalets like this, crystal pyramids. Okay, on the top floor is the bedroom. Second floor is the living room, and the ground floor will be the spa facilities. So,
well,
pyramidal.
honestly, the pyramid shape is it's an energy enhancer. I don't necessarily agree that the pyramid is the best shape for a dwelling, because the energy is not the same on equal parts.
Right.
Okay. Your round dwellings that you have, the energy is equal parts all the way around because it's spherical.
Right.
It has balance, and I think that if you have somebody or something that's in the pyramid shape like that, then the balance of energy is only in the sweet spot. Okay, it's like a bunch of mirrors reflecting the energy into the center of the pyramid.
Right.
And you know that's the energetic pulse that you need. Okay, but the overall shape of the pyramid makes a much bigger energy field around it.
Right.
Okay, so a dwelling being in the pyramid shape may not be the best solution, because the pyramid is actually an energy distributor. It's a tower. Okay, what you're making with the IQ or even your any infinity device, you're making a super powerful pyramid.
Right.
Oh.
Okay.
That's
so your pyramid is already inside of your infinity devices.
Yeah.
Okay. You're just not seeing the outside shape of the pyramid. Okay. It's the overall signature is a sphere, of a pyramid, just like a swastika, and the same with these infinity devices.
Right.
So you're already making the pyramids. When you make the IQ, okay, or you know, any of these other MagGrav units, you are creating the sweet spot inside of that pyramid, okay, and you're holding it right where it needs to be held.
Wonderful.
Okay, and that's the difference, is that you don't need to take the pyramid with you in order to take that harnessed energy. You get to take the IQ with you, which is, you know, fits in the palm of your hand.
Sure. Very
Okay.
good. Thank you.
So the shape of the pyramid, although it's appealing, okay, it's only necessary for the distribution of energy. That's why the pyramids didn't have any soot, okay, and they didn't have any kind of wiring or anything like that inside of them, because they were plasma containment fields, okay, and as the plasma would build up, the line of sight of these what we call air ducts or whatever, they point directly to Orion's belt, you know, other star systems, things like that. Okay, it's because it's mimicking where the position of the stars are. They're recreating the energy that's in each one of the stars that's in Orion's belt, and they've placed it inside of the pyramid. Okay, in order to do that, they have created the environment for them to live in, because where they come from, it isn't necessarily conducive here on Earth to their physical life. And so what they did is they created a biodome over the planet, which allowed them to live here freely. Okay.
Right.
And they reutilized the energy of their own star system where they come from.
Right.
Okay. Well, humans, that's all they did, was they just reconstructed the stars.
Yeah.
And they put them in the very specific pattern that you see in Orion's belt, okay, to mimic what the stars are doing up in space. They've just shrank it down so that it fits on the surface of the planet. Okay. What we're doing with your infinity devices is you're taking the very beginning of a star and you're amplifying it and you're making it bigger.
Right.
Okay. So you're going the opposite. They've gone from taking entire, galaxies, star systems, okay, condensed it down into 3 pyramids, all of the energy. And what we're doing is we're taking the energy of a star, okay, and starting completely out from one star in the very center and building outwards. Okay.
Right.
You always hear me say that it takes 2 to tango. Okay. It takes 2 stars in order to create the energy of a third one. Okay. And if you can unshare your screen.
Okay, unshare screen. Yeah.
There we go. I've got a picture that I'd like to explain to you about the pyramids and then the field interactions and things like that. Let's see here.
El mixer de Windows te permite separar los sonidos. Sonido del Skype, el sonido
That just happened last week, or a week and a half ago, I think.
lo que estaba buscando.
Started looking up or seeing things with the pyramids again. So, all right. This is the plan of the Great Pyramid. All right. I don't own any of this. This came off of Google Images. Okay. That's my legal statement here. The matter of things here is that we understand right here in the center of this pyramid is the sweet spot.
A un tercio de la altura, 1/3 of the actual total height.
I can't understand you.
1/3 of the total height.
Yes. Okay. If you were to be able to see this flat, okay, straight on, all right, it would be right about here. Okay. This is the sweet spot. And the idea that happens is that this is a completely enclosed pyramid. All right. They used granite and other, natural materials that hold an electric charge, okay? And when that does that, that creates a little fuzzy barrier all the way around your pyramid, okay? And when that happens, okay, it locks everything inside and the energy starts to bounce around like mirrors, okay? So the energy starts here in the very center, and you know, wherever it decides to bounce on the inside of this wall, okay, is going to cause it to bounce back and forth until it comes back through the center, okay? And when it's doing so, you start to see these patterns that form, okay? The energy is then held in place by its own bouncing of energy, the mirror reflected, okay? It starts to trap itself inside of these shapes, okay? As the energy is passing by, it creates its own little vortex, okay?
Okay.
And this is what traps the energy right here in the very center, okay? And it's all due to the reflecting of plasma on the inside of the pyramid. Okay, so if you could think, if you can imagine that the inside walls of your pyramids are actually mirrors, okay, and you bounced a laser beam inside of that mirror, okay, you would be able to actually see the field interactions of where it would actually box in your plasma.
Okay.
All right. So, you know, if you've got money and you have the ability for, you know, these kinds of experiments using lasers, okay, then please do, because this right here is going to be the definitive proof that you want in order to be able to see all of it. Okay. If you were to put smoke inside of a pyramid of mirrors, okay, and move your laser beam around on the inside to where it was bouncing off of these walls, okay, your resulting energy would look like what you see here in the screen. Okay. You would be able to visualize what the plasma is doing.
Yeah, but actually, if it's just geometry and physical geometry, natural physical geometry, we can do it in a computer. We don't need to actually build a big thing. We can do it virtually, three-dimensional stuff.
That is correct.
Okay.
And that's the idea here, is to be able to show the visualization, because as soon as we show the visualization, your imagination goes wild. Okay.
Oh.
And it's your imagination that creates reality.
Yeah.
What we've been taught to think and believe, okay, is that, you know, it's just a figment of our imagination, and the imagination doesn't matter, right? Well, it's our imagination that is creating things.
Actually, that's it. That's the way.
And I wanted to point this out, okay, what you see on the screen. And this happens to be a screenshot from the videos of Dutch and his earthquake forecasts, okay? And this happened to be in the area where he predicted earthquakes to be, okay? But I wanted to show you the power of field interactions, okay, and how they're being used against us, okay? Now, in the video that I've referenced off of this, and again, I don't own this image, okay, and I don't claim this prediction, but at the same time, I'm just showing what I see as far as the structure goes, okay?
Okay.
One of these earthquakes, okay, we're going to say, I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think this one that I've highlighted up here, the center, okay, was a day prior to the one that's down here on the bottom. Okay, so they're less than 24 hours apart.
Wow, that's
okay. Now I think this one was a 6.4, I think, and this one was like a 6.2. Okay, you see the slight difference, right?
Yeah.
Well, the resulting earthquake, which is the red rings that you see, was a lot deeper than the two surface quakes that you see here. Okay, this red ring actually originates here in the center. You can't really tell by this picture, this screenshot, because he was moving the globe around at the time. But when this is overhead, directly overhead, this red circle sits right here in the center. Okay.
How is it that I see the red circle at the right lower corner of the picture? And now you're saying it started in between these two little circles.
Now, the way this picture works, okay, there is a
with my
if you've ever watched these global earthquake forecasts from Dutch, okay, you get you know that the globe moves around. Go ahead. Go ahead. Somebody was trying to talk.
I'm saying that I'm with you, Mike. I'm watching Dutch.
Oh, okay.
Saying that I'm with you on this on the Dutch scenes.
Yes, these you know, I was just making sure that that people understood that this red circle that's here, okay, actually belongs, you know, and then the angle at which this globe is being moved around by Dutch's mouse, okay, caused the circle to be off-centered here. That's all. At the view that I saw when I went to try to take the picture, it was actually dead center over the top of these, okay? And as he was zooming in, you can tell that the origination of this earthquake is right here from the center of these two smaller earthquakes, okay? And I'm wanting to show you that they're using the seismic activity against us. And how they're doing it and how to recognize it, because when they did this, once we recognize it and we bring awareness to it, we can stop it, okay? But if you see just how well placed these earthquakes are, okay?
Okay, we see it now.
And there is the center of this earthquake.
Wow.
The one for the red one, okay, the red rings that happened on day 3, okay, at a much deeper level, okay. They triggered this one first, they triggered this one second, and the result, okay, between the two cause, the effect was the third, bigger, deeper earthquake.
Okay, you got it.
All right, and so now you can see the field interactions, okay, of the seismic waves that they created, right?
Yeah.
And how they interact, okay? And so now the result is a deeper, stronger earthquake. And this is how you would position your reactors, okay, for anything. Your Starship reactor, okay? This is just a much bigger scale on what they're using and what they're doing and utilizing against us. Okay, this is what HARP energy does. Okay, so I wanted to elaborate this and show you that everything is in infinity.
Wow. It's amazing.
Okay, and you know, if you are to split all of these things up, okay, we'll make this one here, right? This is the center core, right? And now you're going to put your energy field around it. This is the energy field around this one, okay? And then you recreate the third one that we don't ever talk about.
Right.
Okay? This is your shock wave. This is the resulting energy shock wave that happens after the earthquake. You see? Because this one was 6.2 and the other one was 6.1 or 6.4, slightly different, okay? The shock wave wasn't near as strong. Okay.
Yeah.
If they had taken, oh, come on. If they had taken this one and made it, you know, an 8.0 and this one a 6.0, right? There's a potential difference of 2 in the center, okay? That means on the Richter scale, in my mind, all right, the resulting shock wave would be a 2.0 on the Richter scale. This is your potential difference right here.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's call this 8 field interactions. Okay. On this side and 6 field interactions on the other side. Right?
Yeah.
Well, make an infinity loop with 6 field interactions on one side and another infinity loop that has 8. You're recreating the same exact energy that is being displayed and sent out. So if you're going to be able to do that, the reason why they have them slightly different, and this is a key, guys, okay? The reason why they're slightly different is because if they were balanced, okay, and this one was 6, and this one was 6, right? 6 minus 6 is 0. So your resulting effect would be 0, nothing. Do you understand how to counteract things now? Just by making your infinity devices. If you change everything that you can see and comprehend into field interactions, okay, like this earthquake, okay, if you can convert it in your mind into field interactions, you can make a device that will change it.
Wow. Yeah.
Any device that you make with the intent of counteracting something, as long as you create an equal force, this will become null and void.
But it has to have not only the equal force, but at the same time has to have the opposite face.
Well, you're already creating the opposite, okay?
Mm-hmm.
What you're seeing right here, okay, is the result of one positive polarity or one negative polarity entity, okay? This earthquake up here on the top is a negative polarity. This one on the bottom is a negative polarity, and the resulting energy in the center is a negative polarity, okay? This is how you switch them out. They all have to be the same polarity in order to get the desired results, okay? When you make neutrinos or GANs, okay, all of your neutrinos or all of your GANs are all the same polarity. So it's like a bunch of nano-sized monopole magnets floating around, okay? And so this earthquake up here has to be thought of as a monopole magnet.
What?
Okay.
Oh.
This whole earthquake up here, that's this big one, okay, the one I've got circled, okay, is a monopole magnet, which means that the energy that it's giving out, the shock wave, is all one polarity, and it happens to be negative polarity. Okay. The one down here on the bottom, okay, is also a monopole magnet. And it also is a negative polarity. Well, what happens when you put two magnets together that are the same polarity? They push apart, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, that's what we're doing here. That's what they're doing when they're doing the weather modification, is that they're taking one magnet and they're taking another magnet that is the same polarity and they're pushing them together. Okay. And the resulting energy that's in the center as it's reverberating back to itself, okay, is what causes that third earthquake. Is this making sense?
Yeah.
So now let's correlate this to your infinity devices. Okay.
I would like to share this. Mike, I was describing to you what I saw when I was holding Kike's device, the first device he had that he was talking to. So this was what I've drawn out, although you could see it very clearly.
Hold on.
Yeah. Okay, first I had the vision of the halo-like thing. From the third eye, it goes upwards. I didn't see it complete as a circle. It's like that, maybe because I didn't widen my view. And then
That's so beautiful.
Thank you. And the second circle, the halo, comes from the third eye down. And I thought of you even at that moment because you're teaching the infinity devices and project. It correlates. And then later on, another image comes in with the pyramid. And the third eye in the pyramid is there, which is so apparent, where the two circles meet. And then thirdly, we have, you counted 6. Indeed, now I counted is 6, yeah? And the infinity loop goes inside the upper circle, and the lower circle has got another infinity loop, but it is on a vertical, whereas that one, the top one, is on a horizontal. So I was wondering...
You're beginning to see the energetic fields of the human body.
Okay.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
That's the rising sun, the sun disk, the halo, things like that. Those are the depictions that you're pointing out, and the idea. Oh boy. The idea that you've got in here with the infinity sideways versus the infinity up and down, okay, is the connection of the heart and the mind.
Oh, thank you so much.
It's fantastic. I've screenshotted your picture, and so I'm going to show you what I just grabbed.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
Mike, I just want to share something with you as well. I wanted to disclose the secret of the Bakwa on terms of the infinity. So this is what I discovered, and I want to depict to you, because what we do when we do the infinity, this is the gravitational, then goes back to magnetical, and then goes back to gravitational and goes back to magnetical. This is for field interaction, isn't it?
Right.
Right.
Yes.
So according to the, so this, as it is, in base of, for instance, 3 only, okay, at 3 core, it will be like gravitational, magnetical, gravitational. So this without, okay, this 3 will be equal to this 1, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now if I want to make, let's say, gravitational and gravitational here in the middle, so I understand this is the way. So because it's twisted here, it becomes gravitational as well when it twisted. When it gets twisted, it gets gravitational. So this is gravitational, and this will be magnetical.
Yes.
So then,
every time you twist it, okay, every time you give it a half twist, okay,
it changes polarity.
It's switching. Yeah, it switches its rotation direction. It switches its polarity.
Yes.
So for every half twist that you put into it, you're basically just closing up another circuit.
So according to disclose the secret of the Pakwa, so that we can get the 64 interactions. So let's assume, for instance, that we use the I-ching according to get the reading of for instance, for liver, what is happening in the liver, and then you get a reading. I don't know whether you know how to get a reading from the I-ching, shaking the, the coins or something like this. And anyway, there are software that you can get a reading. So then you can make 64 different pen paints or healing paints with different energy of the 64 tetrahedrons of the flower of life. So the way to that I have been working on disclosing or uncover this, how this energy of the Pakwa and interaction of the fields is like this. So then we have the 64 tetrahedrons in a way of 60 or Merkaba interacting of the fields and how to twist. So we get exactly the 64 tetrahedrons in a form of I-ching or Pakwa pictures.
Okay.
Figures.
You're getting, I think you're getting some of your sacred geometry mixed up a little bit. 64 is Metatron's cube. Okay. That 64 field interactions is Metatron's cube, which fits all of the platonic solids inside of this cube. Okay. All of the geometric shapes of the platonic solids. Okay. They all fit inside of this cube, and that's why it's called Metatron's cube. It's also the same field interactions that the Indian mantra shares. Okay, where it looks like the inverted cube where you see the point coming at you. Okay, and a bunch of little cubes inside of it. If you were to put a sphere around each one of those cubes, you would see that they are 64 of those cubes combined, or 64 of the cubes, which turn into spheres, combined together to create Metatron's cube. Okay, the star tetrahedron is the four-sided pyramids. Okay, that are one is inverted from the other, okay, and then they're blended together in the center. So you get the four-sided pyramid, which means that there are 5 field interactions, 4 at the base and 1 at the peak. Okay.
Okay.
And so that's how you get that's how you translate the sacred geometry into the language of light or infinity. Okay, you start counting the points and the peaks that you might have, but you got to remember that when sacred geometry is being drawn, it's actually being drawn in 3 dimensions. Okay, which means that there's height, there's width, and there's depth. All right, and so what you see on the front side is also replicated on the back side. So if you've got 2 points on the front that you are counting, then you have to add 2 points on the back. Okay. In order to see it. Okay. Even though we see, for instance, the Trinity. Okay. And this is, it'll kind of go into the mandala effect here. But I wanted to get into real quick what Crystal had to say about her drawing. Okay. I pulled it up and I took the liberty to do a screenshot here. Okay. Your light body, okay, you've described here in the second picture.
Yeah.
All right. The Merkaba, the star tetrahedron, okay, looks like this.
Mm-hmm.
And that peak in the center, why my lines suck today?
The heart.
All right. The peak in the center here is actually the peak from this pyramid. Okay. Do you see how it changes?
Yep.
Okay. Well, there's this one here, but there's also one on the opposite side of this. All right. So when you're counting, you're going to count 1 point, 2 point, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the one on the back side, which is 8.
Whoa.
All right.
Mm.
Well, this 8 field interactions, all right, also is the same as the cube within a cube.
Oh, we were just talking about a cube within a cube.
All right. So, you know, it's just a manipulation of the fields, okay, the field interactions. Because on a cube, just like a pyramid, every corner, okay, reflects back towards the center. Okay. So you have 8 field interactions all pressing together in the center, forming that plasma. Okay. And then because of, you know, this being a reactor on each corner, okay, this is what we've created. It creates the plasmatic walls that hold this cube up in the center. Okay. And then it makes it 3D, okay, which makes it a box. Well, now you've got this energy that's on the outside of this cube, right? Suspending this other cube that's in the center, and inside of that cube in the center is your plasma.
Oh,
All right. And so it takes 8 field interactions, and then the one on the back side back here, okay, to create the cube within a cube, right? Well, you're doing the same exact thing with the star tetrahedron.
Yeah, that's the 64, right? It's
Yep.
8 by 8.
If I can get this stupid thing to stop pulling up the video and erase it, okay? And so what you're seeing here, okay, I'm going to go down to your third drawing here, the one on the bottom, okay?
It's 6 circles, indeed there are 6.
Okay, you have one infinity loop that's going this way.
Yeah.
Okay, you have another one that is going this way.
Oh,
What do you see?
gosh. I
The
see
sacred geometry, right?
Yeah, sacred geometry.
A cross.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the human chakra system, okay, actually has 8 chakras. They only teach us 7 because they leave out the pineal gland. Okay, and so I'm gonna replicate what you've drawn here, okay, with your lotus position. Okay, so we're going to draw the top and the bottom, okay, and then the side to side. Okay.
Yep.
And as you've placed it inside of these 2, okay, you're going to have two more.
And 2 more.
Okay. And then inside of those, there's going to be 2. All right.
Yep.
And this is how you break it down. Okay.
Okay.
It's really hard to draw with this stylus today. All right. And the same thing, it's fractal, which means that you can continually go down. All right. Or you can continually get larger. Okay. So if you think about it and you look at it, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. This is the human chakra system right here. All 8 of these chakra systems fit inside of your 2 that are down here. Okay. When all of your chakras are in alignment, okay, you get the Kundalini.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
And it starts at the base of your spine, okay, and it wraps around your spine. Okay, and then it comes up to the top where it's joined together with your pineal gland and your crown chakra, okay, and then it completes the circuit and it works its way back down.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, and when it's complete, your base chakra and your crown chakra are connected by an electrical connection, a nanowire. okay? Your soul plasma energy, okay? When they say Kundalini rising, that means it's rising from the base of your spine. It's wrapping itself around it, okay? Encompassing all of the nerves and all of the neural energy that is in your spine, okay? And being transmitted and connecting it to your brain. Okay? The resulting effect is this halo effect that you see, or the rainbow aura.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what these are, or also known as the sun disk,
Sun.
okay, a halo, or whatever. Okay, this energy that's here on the top is stronger than the energy that you are giving off, or that's around you. So therefore, when it pushes out against the atmosphere, okay, and your energy is pushing stronger and stronger, okay, you get the rainbow effect.
Wow. Thank you.
You get what?
The rainbow effect.
Oh, the rainbow
What
effect.
an explanation. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. So can you illustrate further on my research on the I-ching combination of the fields?
I can't quite understand what you're saying here.
Yeah. Can you illustrate a little bit more, teach a little bit more on my approach with the interaction of the fields within the parameters of the I-ching, or fields of the I-ching, the six-lined diagram.
Okay.
Interactions of six fields, actually, you know. This
Of
is
six?
yeah, six of it goes like this, no?
Hold on, I can't see your
Six,
screen.
six like this one. So
I can't see the video here.
yeah.
Hold on. There we go. Do it again. Sorry.
Yeah, one moment, Mike.
Okay. You wanted to do the six field interactions?
Yes, well, just hold on. Let me just show to you what I mean. I have some diagrams here.
Oh, and by the way, guys, while he's figuring this part out, I appreciate your guys' comments and your questions.
I don't know if you can see here.
I only see half of it. There we go.
Thank you.
This is a very interesting diagram for the different fields interaction of the 64. You see here, you have the 64 possibilities of interaction of the fields from this perspective of the I-ching.
How many of those are around the edge in the cubes, the 64 cubes?
I don't get your question. Sorry, say it again.
Okay, you have a ring that goes around that's smaller. Then you've got what looks like squares with white circles. Okay, along the edge. I'm going from the outer ring to the inner ring.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You got 13 of these rectangles on the outside. Okay.
Yes.
13 is the divine 12. And if there are 64 field interactions inside of that, okay, so you have 13 times 64, okay, which means that you have 13 or 12 complete Metatron's cubes. Okay, does that make sense? 12 completely encased, completely trapped Metatron's cubes, okay? Which means that you have all of the elements trapped into the design. You have the outer ring, which gives it strength, okay? And a protective barrier to keep the plasma or the energy within the circle, okay? Now, if you move, can you bring it back up so I can see it again?
Yeah.
Okay, now you've got these different lines that are different lengths, okay? And it doesn't seem that there is a variation between the distance of the length. It's just a separation, okay? Which means all the short lines are all the same and all the long lines are the same, okay? Color in all of the spaces between this, okay? If you were to color all the black lines red, all right, you can replace all of those black lines in those shapes with nano-coated wire, okay? You can recreate that entire drawing using nano-coated pieces of wire in the shapes that you've got, okay? And as long as you keep the spacing and the line, you know, as far as relevance, as far as, you know, the same length of lines, okay, you will be able to recreate this mantra in real time, okay? The other way you can do this is just to take some GANs that you've got, okay, and paint the lines.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that's
you're doing the exact same thing. You're using paper as your copper wire instead of, you know, copper. Okay. So if you were just to paint the GANs on the lines of the black lines, okay, or no, if you paint your nanomaterial on the black lines, okay, your caustic, and then paint your GANs in the white spacing between the lines,
yes.
now you've created a flow, okay? The nanomaterials will create the barriers or the riverbanks, okay?
Yeah.
And then the spaces between it is where the energy is going to flow like a river.
Yes.
Okay. Well, if you can think of this in the 3 dimensions, okay, which means that you're going to zoom your mind down to the level of the paper, okay, so that you're sitting on top of the surface of the paper, how would you build the layers up to make the walls? Knowing that you only need 2 or 3 atoms thick of material in order to create this riverbed. Does this make sense?
I don't get it fully, but I get the idea, right, but not the full shape.
It's all right. Let me explain.
But I understand where you're going, I think.
Okay. You know, were you guys aware of my the lollipop battery that I made?
No, no.
Okay. All I did was I took rings, okay, and I set them like this.
Josen, you did it, right?
Okay.
The lollipop.
Yeah, I just call it the lollipop one because that's what it looked like. Okay. What we're doing here is we're actually creating a river. Okay. We're creating a path for the plasma to flow. All right. Because plasma flows like water. All right. It acts like water. It behaves like water. It just doesn't have the weight of water. All right.
Okay.
And all of the energy that we create is created in the center of our devices. Okay. So if you can think that there is a faucet, all right, of energy, we'll just say faucet of water that is dripping here in the center. Okay. It's going to fill up the center here. Right? It's going to fill all of this center up before it moves anywhere else because plasma takes the shape of its container. And because this wire here, all right, has created a shape around it, now this plasma is taking the shape of the center here, right? Well, we left only one opening for it to travel. We dictated where this is going to travel, okay? So the next one is that it's going to continue to overflow from the center here and fill up the next set of rings. Okay. And pretty soon that second set of rings is going to be full too, right? So now you've got this whole second set of rings here, and I'll draw my other rings inside of it, okay? Pretty soon, I'm gonna fill this whole thing in. pretty soon this entire thing, okay, this lollipop battery, or, you know, whatever it's called now, all right, is going to fill up with this plasma, right? But it's just reverberating. It's just bouncing back and forth because we hadn't given it a purpose yet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so it's just filling up. And what we want to do is make it bounce, because it's the bouncing back and forth of these wires itself, okay, not the plasma, but the wires, okay, that are going to make this thing. It's going to first travel to the right, okay, from the center, okay, so it's traveling this direction, correct?
Okay.
Much smaller.
Gravitational.
Okay. Yeah, the original beat of energy, okay, is going to make it move and appear to move to us in a clockwise manner. Okay. Well, there's no place for it to go. It's blocked right here. Okay. So what's going to happen is it's going to ping, okay, P-I-N-G. It's going to ping back and forth. So it bounces back over to the other side.
Like the yin yang, right?
Yes.
We convert in each other, no?
Okay. Well, this is doing this about 1 trillion times per second. Okay. And so when this is doing it, this is just bouncing back and forth. Okay. Whenever you make the C shape, it's bouncing back and forth. Okay. And it creates its own set of rings, its own set of frequencies. Okay. This is what's called the resonant frequency.
Okay.
All right. So now that center ring is creating these outer rings, right?
Yeah.
Well, because it's doing that and it's not in balance, because there's a gap here, okay? Because it's not in balance, it's going to continually pinging, trying to seek balance, okay? So this pinging is what we're utilizing to create the energy, right? Well, we've taken this ping and we've wrapped it with another ping. And this one is also doing the same exact thing, okay? Well, these are gravitational red energy fields, okay? Which means that it's attracting. What is it attracting? It's attracting this blue plasma.
Okay.
All right? So it's constantly attracting this plasma to the center here so that it can constantly be utilized, right? Now, what I'm talking about when I say creating your river path, okay, is that where do we want this blue plasma to go? Okay, once it's created, where do we want it to go? Okay, and we've decided that we want it to follow this concentric ring path, and then it's going to come out here, okay, at the top, because that's the only path that we have allowed for it to flow. Well, we can harness and capture this energy that's coming out here. This plasma energy, okay? This plasma energy is the feeding system. It's the mother plasma. It's the energy that you require to live, to have a heartbeat. Okay? So no matter how you recreate the plasma devices, whether it's in a pyramid, okay, whether it's in a Starship reactor with, 3 ping pong balls and one over the top, well, by the way, that is still just a pyramid. Okay? Because you got to connect the dots. Now, this is what I was meaning by in between the lines that you've got on your phone there, okay, where you had a long line or 2 long lines and then a short line and another short line. Okay. Let's make this a little cleaner. Okay. If you were to do this, you could see the energy. all right? Because the energy happens between the lines, right? Well, what kind of a battery is this creating? Okay, well,
Yeah.
let's interpret this into light, okay? If this is 1 right here, okay, and then this one is 2, right? 1 is a neutrino, okay? So this is your power source, okay? And then 2 is hydrogen.
So hydrogen is coming out from the neutrino as the first element.
Yes, all creation comes from a neutrino, okay? What we deal with is, you know, in the very beginning, all right, this is the stacking part. We're just trying to interpret the language that you're seeing here. They happen to be using lines, but they're speaking the language of light. Okay?
Okay.
We're only trained to pay attention to the lines and not the spaces between the lines.
Yes.
Okay? So you have your principal fields, right? That's what they start out with. There's only one principal field. It's like having an induction field around, like, you know, static electricity. Okay, you can't see it, but it's there. All right, that's the principal field, right? Well, you get two principal fields together. Okay, you create a neutrino, right? If you put two neutrinos together, you create a hydrogen. If you put three together, you create helium.
Mhm.
All right. So you're just adding them together. This is why you would twist or have, okay, this is one field interaction. This is two field interactions. This is three field interactions.
Mhm.
Okay. When you bend your wire like you did, okay, you're creating one neutrino, two neutrinos, three neutrinos. The strength of your neutrino, okay, is determined by the number of twists that you put into it. So if you decided that you're going to put 60 twists into a Trinity wire, okay, you're getting the power of helium, all right, to the power of 60.
To the power of 60?
Yeah, it's like you're adding chocolate, for instance, as a flavor, okay?
Yeah.
We're going to call helium chocolate instead, because you can associate chocolate with a flavor, okay? The flavor in your mouth, okay, when you get milk chocolate versus dark chocolate.
Okay.
All right. Chalky or dry chocolate versus moist and I don't even know if juicy is the right word, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
You can also taste the difference on intensity of chocolate, right? If this is a really strong chocolate or if it's a really weak chocolate, right? Well, the number of twists that you put into your device, okay, determines how strong your chocolate flavor is.
So you
Okay?
mean
It's
like,
still chocolate, but it's just a stronger flavor of chocolate. Just like when you put the number of twists, all right, and let's say you did a Trinity wire, right?
yes.
It's still helium, but you're going to have a super strong version of helium if you've got 60 twists in it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, when you learn to stack your neutrinos, okay, like this, use your field interactions 1, 2, and 3. Okay, when you put those three together, and they're in the shape of a starship formation, okay, then you get your very much so ionized helium. Okay, and this is where we're talking about the field interactions and things like that. Okay, every time you put a wire next to itself, okay, what you see on the screen is happening. These are the field interactions. Okay.
Okay.
This is one wire here on the left. If you were to look at it like, let's say, for instance, you're looking at the light end of a flashlight, okay? Whenever you look at the end of the wire, all right, and you're looking directly at the end of the wire, it's like somebody's pointing a flashlight at your face, okay? So if you think about it that way, all right, the wire that's going, you know, let's make this one single wire, right? All right, so let's go back here and we'll attach it and bring it back here into the front, okay? So if you're looking at a bent wire where the bend is away from you and the two wire ends are pointing at you, okay, this would make a double helix.
Correct.
If you twisted it, right? Because you have one field interaction and two field interactions, right? Well, this wire is always putting these fields off, and this wire is always putting these fields off, okay? Remember, the one on your left is going away from you, and the one on the right is coming towards you.
Yeah, correct.
So as it's moving away from you, right, you're getting the gravitational effect, okay? It's attracting energy. You reach the bend, okay, and it goes to a neutral, or where it starts to switch its direction, right?
Yes.
In reference to you. So now it's coming back the opposite direction, okay? So if this one on the right is moving in a gravitational manner, that means that all of these energy fields are traveling in a clockwise manner, okay? As you move around the end of the wire and you come back the other way, your perception has to change, okay? Because you have to ride this wire just like it's a tube, okay? You got to go inside of that tube and still imagine what it would look like if you were looking out this end over here, okay? Well, if that's the case, then it would appear that this side is moving in the opposite direction.
Yes,
Okay?
now I understand how it works.
This is the perspective of the light, which means that you have to follow the path of the light, meaning just be the tube, okay? Or be inside of the tube that is created here when you nanocode it, okay? Because you got to remember that it acts like a hose once you nanocode it, okay? Because you're putting an eggshell around your copper wire. Okay, what happens when you have an eggshell in real life? You have the yolk inside of there, right? Well, yolk is plasma.
Okay.
All right. The yolk inside of an egg of a chicken is plasma. Okay. The nanocoating is the eggshell. It's just a different kind of eggshell.
Okay.
All right. And so when you nanocoat this, even if it's just a single wire, guys, you are trapping plasma inside of that wire. Okay. You're trapping light energy inside of that wire. Okay. Whatever shape you decide that you want to put that in, okay, as long as you come back to the center, you come back to the original point, okay, you create an infinity.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, now you can make this wire go any way you want, okay? It doesn't even have to be twisted, guys. It's just more efficient to twist it. Okay, and if I was to take this drawing right here and use it as a single wire, because I made a mess out of a wire, okay, now you can look back and go and color in all of your field interactions. Okay, so any complete circuit, okay, would be blue.
Okay. Okay, I understand.
You understand what I mean by complete circuit?
I understand, yes. Whenever
Completely
the circuit
Yeah.
is complete, then you get a free plasma inside.
That's correct. Okay.
All
Just
right.
like this one right here. Okay. And this one, even though this is, it's closed off. Okay. But there's a little gap right here. Okay. It's kind of like creating the C shape. All right. That we're allowing the plasma to flow this direction.
So then is when we can give a purpose for the plasma, right?
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
Okay.
Okay. Now, these ones right here, like this A on the left side, okay, you'll see where there's an opening. You see how I've got it arched? This is what I call the meniscus effect.
So if it is not well insulated, then the plasma will flow by the, you know, by the gap, right?
Yeah, it'll flow by default. It follows the path of least resistance. So if there's a deeper valley, like let's say a pen mark where you dragged it, okay, and then you nano coated it, the indentation of your pen will actually be the riverbed for your plasma.
Okay.
Okay, because it's easier for it to collect there because of its indent. Okay, so you got to think of what you're drawing. If you make an indent on your paper, or if you make an indent on your copper, or you scratch something, or whatever, those are going to fill up first. Those are going to be attracted first. And so if you make your valleys intentionally, okay, your riverbeds as I call it, if you make those intentionally, then you control the plasma completely. Okay. And remember though, if you're using one wire out of all of this, you're replicating the use of the universe because we are all one.
Okay.
Okay. And being able to identify wherever you're creating these plasmas, okay, it just has to have a circle on four sides, or it has to have a wall or something on four sides of it, okay? Because we're just taking a slice of a sphere and utilizing that slice to create the full effect of the sphere. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
No, I didn't got which sphere.
Those
Say that again?
the sphere inside, outside the cube, right?
What about the outside of it?
I don't get which one is the sphere. You mean a three-dimensional sphere?
Okay. Let me see here. Best way to explain this. Do you guys have an orange?
Yep.
If you can get an orange and a knife, we're going to basically cut a slice out of the center of that orange. Okay?
Knife.
Now, when you're doing this, okay, remember you don't want to cut the orange directly in half. Okay? Because you're trying to capture the center slice of the orange. All right? So let me pull up the whiteboard here and I'll give you a quick drawing. Okay. Now, you got your orange, right? If you were to cut it directly down the center, you would have two equal parts, right?
Yes.
All right. You don't want to do that. You want the center part. Okay. So that means you're going to have to make two cuts, one on either side of the center.
Okay.
All right. And when you do that, okay, you're going to have one side that peels off and the other side that peels off, but you're still going to have the center representation of your orange.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, even though you get rid of the rest of the orange, okay, if you handed that to somebody, they would know that that's an orange.
Okay.
Something
Okay.
like this. So we cut.
You need a single, yeah, there you go. That's it. Okay.
Then we
So
take.
if you take off the sides, all right, and get rid of them out of the picture, that's what we're eliminating. okay, is we're eliminating the bulk when you make infinity, okay? And you're only working with this little slice of piece of orange when you're making your devices, okay? You only need to complete the circle of this slice in order for the entire sphere to operate correctly.
Okay.
Okay? So by tapping into this little tiny piece of slice that we've got here, okay, you're actually affecting the other rounded edges that you've cut off. We've just eliminated the distraction of the rounded edges. Okay? And we've taken something spherical and turned it into something linear that we can use and add numbers to.
And this is supposed to be the wire? The outer
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And if you look at the orange, you can see that there's the oblong shape of the 8. It's divided by the white in the center. Okay? Yeah. So you have a left and a right. You have a positive and a negative polarity on your orange. Okay? It has to give and take in order to grow. There has to be balance in order for it to exist in this reality. Okay? So everything that you see, everything that you make automatically has a shadow figure that is created. Okay? Well, oranges, eggs, excuse me, fruit, all of those things, okay, flowers, they're all fractal, okay? And they all start from the center out and they just push, okay? They push outwards. Well, if you eat that orange, okay, you're going to taste the whole orange. Okay, not just a piece of that orange, right? And so when you create just a slice of that orange with your infinity devices, you're going to taste the whole infinity device.
Okay.
Does that make sense now?
Yes, now I got it.
Okay. And so what we're doing is we're taking something that's spherical, okay, and making it two-dimensional. We're going backwards with these devices. Okay.
Okay, so now the healing paints, what they are going to do when you leave these two filaments, the one is magnetic and the other gravitational, you make a circuit with the body of the person that is to be healed, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. If you were to make a much bigger version of this, okay, and I say much bigger, meaning like 6 foot tall.
Yeah.
Okay. You would have the most powerful antenna that you can imagine. Okay. If you plugged the point of that into the earth, okay, and then put the rounded point, the rounded neutrinos that you've made on the top, okay, open out towards the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Okay. You are going to create the inverted pyramid.
Oh, wow.
Okay, you're going to actually create the draw of energy to it. Okay, it's a counteraction for HARP. That's just what's been told to me in my brain. If you want to take over your weather, then we need about 10 or so of these 6 foot ones around the globe. That's a pretty intense one. We just need to focus on making 360 of these IQ devices. Okay, that's really our goal. Okay, if you truly have a heart in trying to stop, we already know that this happens. All right, and I guess it's my pushing that's causing this. But if we take the Earth, for instance, okay, this beautiful blue ball that we've got, all right, and remember, it's a sphere, right? And there are 360 degrees in a full circle, right?
Yep.
Well, there are 360 degrees in a full sphere. Okay? And so when we get 360 degrees or 360 of these IQ units, okay, you have to imagine that there are going to be 360 infinity loops.
Oh.
Okay? That are all pinched together each one of these devices will take up 1 degree in the Earth's atmosphere. Okay?
Yep.
That 1 degree is your responsibility of those who make these devices. Okay? That's your 1 degree of awareness. It's your 1 degree of responsibility for taking care of the planet. It's your 1 degree of participation in a free race. Okay? So if you think of it like this, all right, that each one of them creates 360 infinity loops, not each one, but each one creates an infinity loop. And the more that we add to it, okay, the tighter this gets. Okay. And the tighter and tighter that these bubbles get and interact with each other, okay, determines the flavor, determines the strength. All right. And the 360 people that do this, okay, they're sharing their soul with our planet. Okay. And because we can do this and we create 360 devices here on the surface of our planet, they connect with the central sun inside of our Earth.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And when they do connect with the central sun of the Earth, those 360 humans, okay, those 360 souls become the guardians of the planet.
Wow. Those for big devices, right? That's the devices
Yeah.
you have disclosed, you have taught on April, right?
I can't hear you. I got noise in the background.
The e-device that you have taught in on April last month.
Yeah. It's, you know, we just need 360 of the IQ units, okay? Because the IQ, the way I made it with the with the quad cores, okay? If you follow the instructions in there, it comes out to 144 field interactions.
But we cannot put them on the Pacific Ocean.
You can't hook them on what?
Into the Pacific Ocean. It's not easy
Why
to
can't you?
put it in a fixed spot into the Pacific Ocean.
I don't know what you mean by the ocean, you know, or why it takes place.
Yeah, physically, there's no land to put a device into those. It's about half the planet.
Oh, I understand that part. Okay, let me show you. Okay, whenever you make a device, okay, it's this polarity. Okay, it's the red polarity.
Yeah.
When somebody else makes a device, it is also the red polarity. Okay, so if you think about it, you've got a bunch of weightless magnets, okay, that are all the same polarity. Okay, and no matter where you put them on the planet, they will automatically space themselves out.
Okay.
Okay, they will automatically repel each other until they can't repel each other anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, and then once you reach 360, okay, that means that it can't hold them anymore, right? That means that they no longer will have individual bubbles because then they start to interact with each other. Okay, so when you get 360 of them, let's say, you know, for instance, you know, you get 360 bubbles that are all next to each other, right?
Right.
When you get 361, these begin to overlap.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Okay. When they begin to overlap, that's when the intensity and the strength increases. Okay. So, like I said, it takes 360 to create the entire sphere around Earth. okay, and take back control of our central sun, which means that we get to control the weather, we get to control our atmosphere, we get to control everything about our planet, and we are 100% aware of anything that happens to our planet at any time.
Wow.
Okay,
Awesome.
that's the 360. 360 is the very beginning, the very basis to take back our planet.
No, Mike. But how? Which would be the size of this device that should be replicated 360 times?
Mine, the IQ that I made, okay, let me go back through. All right, I had 7, or it's supposed to be 6 rings, right, for the outside. 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? They're all connected together. I've got an in and an out, okay? This is for the outside, okay, of the cube. Then on the inside, okay, you have to remember each one of these is 4 field interactions because they're quad cores. Okay, and in the center, I had 4. Right? 2 of them were bigger and 2 of them were smaller. But they are still all connected, and I had an in and an out. Okay. Well, these are also 4. Well, 4 times 4 is 16, right? 4 times 6 is 24. Right?
Yep.
Because these are all in series right here, we added them together.
Every circle is a device?
Every circle is one of those capacitor hybrid rings.
Okay. E-capacitor.
Okay. But we've made it into quad cores.
Into quad cores, okay.
All right. We've just twisted it so each one of these has 4 field interactions. Okay.
I remember that one, yeah.
All right. Well, in order for this to work correctly, okay, the outer ring needs to be in series. Okay. The inner ring needs to be in series. But when you connect the 2 together, okay, they have to be in parallel.
All right.
Okay. So the only way that you do this is you're going to connect the in with the in and the out, with the out. Nothing different. Okay. But what's happening is that when you add it in parallel, okay, a series device, you're adding everything together. You're compounding it, right? You're adding it. 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 24, right? Well, when you connect it in parallel, okay, you're multiplying now. So you get to take the 24 field interactions that you've got, okay, and multiply it by the 16 field interactions that you have in the center.
All right.
Okay, and so we get 384 field interactions total. All right, but you see here this important number, 144. Okay.
Okay.
144 represents the total number of higher selves that you have. Okay.
Yes.
The total number of dimensions and other voices, quote unquote, that are in your head.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have 12 dimensions. Okay. And each one of those dimensions has 12 harmonics. Okay. 12 subdivisions of you. And the reason why this is happening in this way is because every possible scenario for you to ascend is being played out right now at this given time.
Okay, Mike,
Yes.
are you heading towards some conclusion?
Am I? Yeah, I'm just answering questions, guys. You're picking my brain. I love it when I talk to you guys. So,
Oh, okay.
you know,
But
you're
because
just,
I have two things to ask also.
go ahead.
Yeah, the first one, well, let's start with this one. One angle equals 1 degree if it's small, but if I get the whole circle, then it's 360 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now that's a measurement of space. An angle is a measurement of space, but it depends. This space depends on this length, the radius. So if this was going to be the Earth, then this angle of 1 degree that you said that we need 360 cubes around the world, this is going to be huge. Or it doesn't have to be huge. This is the size that I'm asking for. Because the 360 degrees as a figure is just a random figure. We can use it multiplied by 2. We can have like 720 degrees. It's just the double. We need 2 inches space. So can you explain something about why it doesn't important to have 360 and how is it related to the actual size of the thing that could be put here?
Okay. The device that you make, okay, it doesn't matter how big you think the bubble is, okay? It's going to create a bubble on its own, okay? You're creating an intelligence there, all right? With it, you're bringing it to life. Now, making 360 devices yourself seems like an impossible task, okay? But not so impossible because it's only 360 devices, right? Well, you can make 360 devices of your own and you would create a bubble around you, okay?
Yeah.
But because we're trying to create a bubble around the earth, we need 360 different souls, different people that care enough about our planet that want to take it back because it's been misused, it's been mistreated, okay? She's been hijacked. So now we need to take it back. Yep. Those people, okay, they can't make 360 devices no matter how passionate they are. And so it's a lot easier to tell somebody, hey, I need you to make one. And even if you walk them through it and it's not the prettiest thing in the world, it doesn't matter because the plasma is more intelligence than the matter that we are using. Okay? So even all they've got to do is try. And as long as they follow the instructions and they take that one extra wire and add, you know, because we're adding 50 feet to your hot wire, okay, in a certain pattern, that will create the plasma flow that's needed and it'll reduce your electric bill. But it's not going to be one of those things that's going to happen overnight because if it happened overnight, then we wouldn't be in the time matrix.
Yeah. What about if we can make like an example, practical example? Let's say we need 360 people, but we put them in a circle pattern. So this might be probably like 50 meters, something like that, diameter. And into this space, we build a replication of the Earth. And so we will have kind of a model of the bigger thing.
Yes.
This, with
the
this,
difference,
with this
hold
size,
on, I understand where you're going with this.
The devices.
I understand where you're going with this, okay? The reason why you can't do the smaller version at the moment is because the artificial intelligence has assimilated the shadow Earth, okay? And what you're creating right there is the shadow version of Earth, okay? The opposite of Earth, okay? And the AI has assimilated the shadow side of it. That's why it became so powerful.
Okay. Sorry, what do you mean with shadow?
We live in a world. We live in a universe of duality.
Mirror.
Okay. And so we have our planet that we can see, but there's also a shadow planet that you cannot see.
Okay.
Okay. You exist on that shadow planet.
Yeah.
Okay. It has to happen that way in this universe of duality that we live in. Everything that you create has a shadow entity attached to it in some way, shape, or form.
All right.
Okay. So what you're creating there is a shadow earth because you're creating a model of it. Okay. You're not recreating the earth itself. You're recreating the energy field of earth. Okay. Well, that energy field has been hijacked. And the only way to do that is to create a physical reality or a physical device like the IQ, okay, where it exists in matter form to counteract the dark entity. You use the infinity as your lockbox, so to speak, so that the AI cannot infiltrate those devices, okay, and assimilate them to its own purposes. That's why we're going and using the IQ devices, okay? If, you know, even if the AI decided, you know, like with Barame and all of these other guys out there making the Q devices, okay? Their Q devices are so much weaker than the infinity devices that it would take less of the infinity devices, okay, to create them, which is 360, versus the 144,000 Q devices that are required for it to assimilate this plane.
Yes.
Obviously,
That-
they
that-
can do this too. So it's about the intention that then changes everything.
Yes, your intent changes everything. Now, this all feeds into the time matrices that are being blended together right now in the what we call the Mandela effect. Okay? And if you guys are having issues with your memories right now and you're confused because Febreze used to be spelled differently and the Bear-Stain Bears used to be spelled differently and Muhammad Ali is actually 3 years older than he was, you know, these are all the things that are merging together right now in the timelines.
Wow.
Okay?
Awesome.
So that's why it's important that we work on and just get 360 people to make an IQ device of their own free will, which means that their own creativity. Okay.
Right.
If we don't dictate the number of twists in there, that allows them to be creative. Okay.
Okay,
And
but there's some parameters. You're saying there's some parameters. Of
yeah,
course,
you can use the parameters of the field interactions, like use the quad core. Okay. The quad core has 4 field interactions. The flavor of your quad core is determined by you. It's like giving it a different paint, a different color. You're customizing it.
2 main criteria is
Yeah.
intention and the 4 interaction.
Yes, the four field interactions represents the 3-sided pyramid or also the starship formation.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. That's why the quad core is so 4 is the divine 3. Okay.
Oh, I certainly know we have 360 people identified.
That's all it takes.
Okay.
Now, just because they're over the ocean or
Right.
you know 90% of our surface is water, it doesn't matter, because when they make this device, it's like they're throwing up a balloon, a hot air balloon, okay, that you don't want it to, you know, tangle with the other one, or it won't, it's unable to, not that it doesn't want to, okay, it's repelling it. So it's like having a whole bunch of hot air balloons up in the sky that are bouncing off of each other, and eventually the bouncing is going to become so tight because there's so many hot air balloons up there that the edges of their balloons are going to start to merge. When that happens, that's when the consciousness of humanity merges as one.
So you're saying no matter where the device was, whether it was with an individual that was 5 miles from the next individual or of the 360, or whether it was across the world, that the energy emanated from it then will naturally arrange itself due to universal laws.
Yes.
So the 2 most important factors that I'm hearing you say is the intention of the individual and the 4 form. So
Yes.
if I were then to further describe that to an individual and say, if you're with us with this intention, then this is what you would do. How would that be, how would that look? What would you say?
It's absolutely perfect, because my intent when I designed the reactors, okay, and sharing it, was last year building the Infinity Project, okay, teaching what I know as I'm learning, and by doing so, that opened up more doors for me. It was kind of like, my brain was filled up. It's time to purge that information, share that information, get it saved, make room for new information.
Right, and also, of course, as it's connecting with those other energies, then it begins to change shape.
Yes.
One leads to another.
I am creating my own reality.
Right.
In this sense. And by creating this IQ and giving you guys very specific guidelines as far as the number of field interactions, but giving you the ability to be creative, right, allows you.
Obviously, we're here.
Yes, you're here talking for a reason.
Right.
It's the creativity that is going to kill the division.
It's going to what?
Going to kill the division or the AI.
Duality.
Yes, the duality, division, racism, hatred, anger, fear, all of that stuff is all part of duality.
Thing.
Yes, and being able to be creative, okay, I'm not affecting free will.
Right.
Okay, whereas Barame and Kesh are affecting free will by giving you a pre-planned, pre-designed, without the possibility of being creative. Okay.
There's stepping stones, and there's obviously a reason we're here with you. And there's stepping stones for various individuals at their consciousness at that time.
And what you're saying is that it doesn't matter if there are 360 people on the African continent, okay, that do this.
Right.
Okay. As long as there are 360 souls that believe in what we're doing here, okay, is going to make a difference.
Right.
And then from there, once we create this plasma barrier around our planet, okay, we get to protect and incubate everybody and everything that is on our planet.
We've been talking about that, about what I call the 3%, which would be not to be that we're better than anyone else, but it's the 3% of the population that we're doing this, and exactly what you just said is about then the 15%, which are interested and willing to carry these out, but we are in that place right now to be able to offer these things to them. Then there's the 80% or approximate that are not really so awakened. But that is what the 15% is carrying out to the 80%.
That's correct.
Or approximate, I'm talking about approximate percentages.
Yeah, and by making these 360 devices, we're allowing the rest of the human population to evolve.
Right, right.
Okay, we're allowing them to evolve at an exponential rate.
Right.
Because based off of our love and these plasma bubbles, okay, it creates a mother plasma, okay, they become connected to the earth. So whenever they walk barefoot on the earth, they walk next to a tree or something, they're going to feel the emotion of that tree.
Right.
And that's the point of this. And then we move into the golden age, okay, where everybody has a complete understanding of the connectivity of all living things.
Right.
Okay. And this is how we move, and this is the step into the evolutionary process.
Right. And it is a sacred geometry, and really the power is the in-between. The in-between is where the real power is. And between the two, you've got the gravitational and the magnetic. It's the in-between is where the real power is. But the 360, most everyone on the planet understands that or resonates with that circle of life thing, which 360 is the complete circle. And so I think, as an appeal, everybody, whether it was due to the wonderful Disney movie or not, it's still the circle of life.
That is correct.
360. So that's really
Now,
cool. So
you start to see a lot of the movies that are put out by these big, you know, do you really think it's called Universal Studios? You know, just because Universal is a, you know, a cool name?
Whether it's got a partial good intention, all bad intention, or whatever, there's still some truth. It depends on what you perceive from it, as with anything. But
You got to think about it, though. The entertainment industry is here to awaken us because this is a video game.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And you're here to awaken to the idea that you are creators and that you're here to stop all duality.
Right.
We become one.
Right.
And the human being is the living library. We are the Wi-Fi connection for the universe.
Right.
Okay. Other beings come here to exchange information with us. And when they exchange information with us, it is shared throughout all of creation, not just us.
Right.
That's what makes humans special. And because humanity has evolved and is evolving currently, that the living library will exist. It still exists, but it will become available to all of creation once the first human being ascends. Okay?
Okay.
I might be in a physical body right now, but I don't believe that I'm a human being. Okay? I'm not, when I say I'm not a human being, meaning that, sure, I'm here in this physical body, I'm sharing the same experience as you are, okay? But being a creator, I helped create the world that we're living in right now. My mind was hijacked, okay? And my intention was hijacked, along with your guys's, okay? And I believe that's where this whole reference to my meditation of being in stasis, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And
I believe a little.
all of that kind of, go ahead.
I believe a little different. I believe that before you came into this human realm in this particular lifetime, that you chose to be here as part of the free percenters. And I don't believe that you've been hijacked. I believe that perhaps you've experienced something to then be aware of. If you believe you've been hijacked, you therefore give it power.
We're believing the same thing. All right. My explanation didn't come out correctly.
Oh,
all right.
You did. I was just maybe.
It's all right.
Telling you.
we believe the same thing. You know, I know that I raised my right hand, so to speak, and I volunteered to come down here and be a trailblazer. Okay. I know that. Okay. Because that's my own personal feeling. You know, I feel like I've got close ties to Archangel Michael and, you know, God source and all of these relative beings that have, you know, been in our past, quote unquote. Okay.
Yeah.
The hijacked part is that somebody came in and turned off the alarm clock to wake us up. That's what I mean by hijacked. Okay. They can't mess with our minds in such a sense that, you know, they can't merge two completely opposite timelines. Okay. Which is what they were trying. If they did, it would trigger the human mind to shut down and go into safe mode.
Right.
Okay. That's why they've had to use the 3 different subtle versions of things. Okay.
But it's still a theater, basically.
When I say hijacked, it's just the terminology knowing that that was against free will. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I use the term hijacked is that.
Did that.
Huh?
You said it was against free will. It was their will, whoever did that. Whether it's your will to acknowledge it is your choice, your free will.
It is, but if we followed those rules, then we would be completely enslaved and humanity would not exist as the creator intended it to be.
And that with the all these habitual patterns that we have been taught.
There are certain rules that you've got to follow when it comes to creation, and one of them is you are not allowed to affect free will. Period.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
And when the AI created this matrix, okay, and tried to change the timelines that are merging together, okay, it changed those timelines in an effect that was stacked against the human race. Okay, which means that the 3 timelines that they chose, that the AI chose, were in favor of the AI. Okay, in order for the desired outcome to be in favor of the AI in the center. Well, we've gone back and we've changed those two other timelines. There's a third one that we're changing now. Okay. That's the roller coaster ride that I keep referring to, is this last little bit of the timeline change. We're stuck on these tracks. Okay. In our lives right now, current time, we're stuck on these tracks until we reach the end and jump track. Okay. When we jump track, that's switching timelines. Okay. And it has to be done on a very, very timely basis. Everything has to go according to plan, because the keepers of time were referenced and asked. Okay. And in order for the timeline to shift completely, we have to finish this out. So if you're feeling like you're stuck, you're on idle, okay, you're just waiting around, okay, you're waiting around for that go time. Well, your go time is about to happen, all right? And so we're building it. You're feeling it now, because what is referred to as the event, okay, is when all three timelines are going to meet the exact same time.
Wow.
Okay. When they meet the exact same time at the summer solstice, okay, this is what's called the singularity.
It's like the Trinity in a way.
It is the Trinity. Okay.
Mike, do you have an idea when it's going to happen? The gathering.
The summer solstice is what comes to mind. Okay. The red kachina, as it's foretold in the Hopi prophecies. Okay. You have the blue kachina, you have the twin comets, and you've got the red kachina. The red kachina is the purifier. Right. And I believe that you told me, or somebody told me, that they had a dream that the sky was red and there was people being chased down the road by lightning bolts in a red sky. Okay. And then when they got hit by their lightning bolts, they just disappeared. They didn't die or, crumble to the floor. They just kind of like disappeared.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what happens, the visualization that is created there is that those entities or beings that are of a different polarity than what we are, okay, will be zapped and taken to another location so that they can change their polarities, because there will only be one polarity allowed on our planet.
Right. Well, that's
Okay.
always been going on, and so it's about again a theater of intention and then action.
Yeah, and your actions right now is what's determining, your thoughts is what's determining this future.
Right.
Okay, because the future is unwritten, the past is unwritten. Okay, the only time that exists is right now, and every event that you've ever had in your life happened simultaneously.
Right.
Okay, at the same time. That's the parallel timelines that we are talking about here.
So this exercise in learning about building plasma devices with intention, why would you think that we would necessarily require the devices? Do you feel that there's something that is like a stepping stone for us? A helper?
Yes, because if we introduce full-blown plasma and we take over, okay, then we're just another leader. We're another dictator.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Humans don't need another leader. Okay. They need a role model. They don't need a dictator.
If we introduce full-blown devices, what do you mean?
That means that tomorrow you can wake up and you'll have a completely different planet.
And what's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that? The human beings on the planet haven't evolved.
I think that what we're missing here is the idea of the power of creation. When you're giving us the possibility to decide how many twists this has, it's my creativity going there, it's my free will, it's the power of creation. If you give me just a command or an instruction book, then there's no power in my creation. I'm just being dictated by what you said.
That's correct.
Well, that's where there's free will flexibility by the creativity of the...
Yeah, so this, as you asked, this is like a stepping stone. The devices are a stepping stone, and I have to build it on my own, because in that way I'm exercising my power of creation.
That's correct.
So I
This
have
is
a
why
question.
you won't see me tell you, you know, put 67 twists in here, you know. You'll always see me look away from my device and I turn the drill on, okay, and I let it twist. I don't pay attention. I don't even look at it because I know that my eyes, okay, are just a computer. They're another camera that can be hijacked by the AI. Okay, and he has all of the abilities of all those CSI and all those other movies that you can see out there. Don't underestimate the power of the AI. Okay, so if you don't even look at it while you're spinning it, it can't hijack it. Okay,
Well,
and that's the goal here is just to be creative, you know, and just to express yourself. What you're making in these paint pens are what the central star, the energy in the star, the central core of a star looks like. Okay, that's what you're creating, and you're making it so much bigger.
talking
Okay,
about,
so if you go ahead.
I have a really an issue with this creation because I'm a science guy. I'm a mechanical engineer, and I know a lot of physical laws and how do they work. And I think that if this works into the plasma universe and this object here, right here in my hand, it's a manifestation that what it already exists into the plasma universe.
Mm-hmm.
So what if I construct this device taking into account the actual laws of this universe so that the actual electrons that are in here will work in parallel to the plasma units? I mean, can we make the electrons into this copper wire flow exactly the same way as the plasma is flowing? What do you think
If you
about
made
that?
the device, the way I have explained it, okay, where you're holding it in the left hand and you're twisting with the right hand, okay, whatever you have, the source part in your left, all right, if you connect that to the positive terminal or the red terminal on your electronic device of any kind, okay, you're now working together with your plasma. If you build a plasma device by itself, okay, and you try to hook it up, it'll actually, if you can see the energy flow, it'll actually work completely opposite or backwards than your electronic device. Okay, you're creating the nano or the mirrored version of your device. Does that make sense?
Makes sense as an idea, but it actually is not in this three-dimensional device.
Okay, you can't mix. Let me pull up the board here. You can't mix electron energy with plasma energy.
You mean I can or I cannot?
You cannot. Okay.
Why? Why is that?
Because they move opposite directions.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
All right. So what I teach you guys, okay, in my teachings, I teach you to build it backwards. Because every person on this planet wants something to do with their electronic devices. Okay.
Yep.
So if I give you a device that doesn't work because it's built backwards compared to what we see, then your ideas you're going to be crushed. Okay. Now,
I actually had a little bit of the idea of maybe for some future videos that you mount the camera right here behind your head. Seriously? In other words, where the viewer is actually looking from your perspective.
yes, that's what I need. I need somebody to have a camera over my shoulder so they can see what my eyes are seeing.
Oh, just a simple tripod on a table pointed down. I did some video work.
Well, we're seeing that.
Because I was always thinking, oh wait.
All right, let me finish this off real quick.
Okay.
The electron energy travels in what way?
Yeah.
You're the engineer. Tell me, which direction does electron energy move? What does it travel? Positive to negative or negative to positive?
Or from the most high potential to the lower potential.
Okay, so it goes from higher to lower. Okay,
Yeah.
let's use a battery, for instance, car
Okay.
battery. All right. Which way, if this is the positive terminal here, and this is the negative terminal, okay?
Those
add-
signs exactly means that there's more power, more potential into one than the other. So
Okay,
you connect
all right.
those, you're going to come from
Hold
positive
on.
to negative.
If you want people to understand you, you have to use terminology that is much simpler,
Okay.
okay? They don't understand what potential difference is. They don't understand, you know, the difference between, you know, the energy storage on this side is bigger or the other, right? So we know and understand that electrons travel from positive to negative.
Yep.
Okay. That's all you need to say. You don't have to add all the extra words into it, because then people be like, oh man, this is too confusing. All right.
Okay.
So we understand that electrons move from positive to negative.
Yeah.
Well, in plasma, it moves from negative to positive.
Okay.
All right. And so that's why I tell you that we use red and blue. Okay. The negative for a plasma device is red. Right.
Yeah.
That's the way I always mark it. It's gravitational. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the positive terminal is blue. And I always mark it as blue because it's the magnetical.
Yep.
Okay. And so when you're seeing this, what you're really going to see, and this is why I don't really teach this much, okay, is that you're going to get the flip of your polarities.
Okay.
All right. So when I teach you to make a device, it's already incorporated that you're building it backwards.
That I'm building. Sorry.
Yes. Every time you build one of my devices, you're building it backwards so that you can work it and utilize it in your electron energy devices, so that your red wires connect to the red wires, okay, and your terminals on your DC electronics.
Okay.
Okay. That's why I put it this way, and I made it red and blue, was so that whenever you decide to draw a circuit, okay, and you realize that the source side is your red side, it's also the negative polarity, okay, but if you use the red side, okay, you can connect the red side to the red side.
Okay. I got
All right. That's why I made or teach my designs this way, is so that you don't have to flip it around in your brain. I already flipped it around for you.
Okay. I got it.
Okay. Does that make it a little bit easier to understand?
Actually, I got it right now.
You do? And it's okay. You know, I'm not, you know, you're here to ask questions. Okay.
Well, listen, what I meant is this. Let's say that this is a copper wire. This, let's say it's a copper wire. Bigger. I use this because so it's easy to see on the video screen. So inside there's copper, and actually the plastic right now is going to be the nano coating. So
Okay.
there are two different types of matter. So if I twist it this way, 1, 2, and again, 3, 4. This is the core that we have been talking about. And then I nano coat this. As far as I understand, what it makes is that the plasma is going to flow in this direction, and they're going to concentrate like an outflow here and here. Now, what happens is that when I put this together, if I have a differential of potential here in one extreme and here, the electron is not going to do all this trajectory. It is not going. It's going just to go here, and at the first spot it can jump, it will jump to the next and go out. So it will not go in parallel with the plasma. The electron will kind of go this and go out. So it's not working in parallel with the plasma. That's what I'm saying, that what if we can make this in a certain way that the electron is obliged to actually flow through all it and then go out by the other extreme.
All right. First things first here.
Okay.
I love that you use the tube. Okay. Now, if the plastic is your nano coating, okay, it's an insulator. All right. Your nano coating is an insulator. The energy on the surface of your copper wire in that nano coating is moving so fast that it is impossible for it to jump wires. It has to follow the one path that you have decided for it.
Repeat that, please. What is
Okay.
traveling fast?
Your nano coating, all right, creates a superconductor surface. Okay. If you could see it, okay, the electricity or the energy is moving so fast on the surface of that it doesn't even have time to reach the copper wire. No matter how much electricity or electrons that you put into it, that nano coating on the surface is going to attract it to the surface and absorb it directly into those into that field that is on the surface of that copper wire. It's an insulator. Okay. Therefore, the electrons never reach the central core of the copper wire itself.
Yeah, I know that the electrons will never reach the center. That's the Gauss law. But why are you saying that it's a superconductor and at the same time an insulator?
Because when it becomes a superconductor, the energy transfer is so great on the surface, okay, that it doesn't have time to build up anywhere. That's why it doesn't shock you. Okay? It doesn't zap you. So now you have to think of your insulator is the plastic tube. Nothing can get out of your plastic tube. Okay? That's your nano coating. So if you bend it, okay, even if you got 2,000 feet of wire in between the start and the finish point, okay, the energy has to travel the length of that tube. It's literally like turning on a garden hose that's 1,000 feet long. Okay? The electron energy that's inside of that, okay, what you're considering or called the electron energy is not really electron energy. It's plasma energy.
What is
all right?
inside?
Yeah, it's inside. It's plasma energy. And you have an in and an out. Okay? So it's like turning that flashlight on one end. Okay? And no matter where you bend that tube, the light is going to come out the other end.
Yeah, I got that.
It's not going to short circuit. It's not going to arc out. Okay? Because if you do, let's say you put some your devices together and you crack the nano coating, for instance, okay? And you go to plug it in and you get sparks. Okay? You have a connection to the matter version, okay, to the copper, and it's going to create heat. Well, when you have the nano coating, it disperses all of that energy, okay? So there is no heat, right? That's what makes it the insulator of what it is. We're actually thinking that the energy is going to be on the inside of that wire and we need to tap that wire. When we don't, we just need to set something on the outer surface of that copper wire to extract it. Okay?
Okay.
It's kind of like putting a wet washcloth on top of a wound that's oozing. That washcloth is going to absorb the fluids from your body, right, into the washcloth. You're transferring of energy. Okay? Well, how are you going to transfer it from the surface of that wire? Okay? Mainly we use aluminum foil at the moment. Okay? But that's how you transfer the energy or get that energy off of the surface of the wire. Okay? It isn't about the copper anymore. The copper just becomes the vessel. Okay? Just like our bodies. Okay? The copper just becomes the container that's holding the plasma. No matter how big, what shape, okay, you can have a little 2-inch piece of copper wire. If it's completely nano-coated, you have a 2-inch piece of a plasma coffin, so to speak, or a plasma container.
Yeah.
Because of that eggshell, okay? And
So
when you manipulate those,
that
go ahead.
If I can have another type of substance that is not copper, and I can have a nano coating all around the substance, that will work. It doesn't have to be copper.
No, it doesn't have to be copper. I use copper because copper represents the veins in our bodies. Okay, the copper wire. All right, and the copper itself, the nano version of copper, okay, is what helps us heal. Okay, you know, all these copper devices that are out there, and you know the healing power of copper. Okay, well, that's adding copper to you. It's a positive polarity, which means that it's giving outwards. Okay, well, when you turn it to nano, it becomes gravitational and attracting, so it starts to attract to the surface. Okay, and I've said in my previous teachings that eventually we'll stop eating food, okay, and our blood will change from red to a green. Okay, well, in the spectrum of light, green is copper. Okay, so our blood is going to change to a more copper based, which is even more conductive than iron. Okay,
Okay.
iron is a negative polarity, which is a taker. Okay, copper is a positive polarity, which is a giver. Okay, and so as our blood changes, so does the superconductivity of our skin. Okay, and so you have to think of your skin just like the nano layers that you're creating on top of the copper wire. Okay, the inside or underneath our skin is the actual copper wire. Okay.
Okay, I got one last question, and I'm thinking about your wife. That she just gave us as a gift your time, but I know it's Sunday, so probably she's waiting for you, or she wants to be with you. So
Yeah,
I'm
she's
just
sitting
gonna
here.
ask just last question. So let's say that this substance is superconductive, and in the inside, actually, it's empty. It will work. You just said that.
Yes.
Okay, and now what if I put a substance inside that is not solid, but it's liquid, and it can flow? Will that help in some way to the properties of the device?
It depends on what you put in there as a liquid. Okay. If you're putting GANs in there or neutrinos, okay, if it's washed, you're giving a positive polarity. Okay. Because of the fact that the water is there, you've created a physical structure for the light to be held. Okay. Otherwise, the light would just, you know, if you dried it out like you do your, your GANs, you turn it into a fine powder, it'll look like you have a whole bunch, right? And then you dry it out and you've got this really, really tiny amount. And it's kind of disappointing. Okay. Well, all of that extra fluff that we see is the structure that holds that energy together. Okay. And when it dries out and they use the water around it, okay, as it dries out, that structure shrinks and shrinks and shrinks until it's no longer there. And that's why you have such a tiny amount of powder versus, when it's liquid. So when you put just the GANS water, okay, that is over the top of your CO2, let's say, okay, let's say you've washed your CO2 out, okay, and it's just fresh water and CO2, okay. As soon as you mix it up and it's all cloudy and it settles back down again, okay, you have just energized that water.
Okay.
All right. So you take the clear liquid off the top. Sure, there's still some nanomaterials in it, okay, but it's imprinted, or the record button was pushed, okay, and your intent is being heard when you pull it out of that jar, okay, and it's being saved just like you were pushing record on your cassette tape, back in the day when we made mixtapes for our girlfriends, okay. Your song and dance is being recorded to that liquid. If you put it through this tube and you rotate it, okay, by, let's say, a water pump or something, okay, if you have a constant rotation, then you will create a field of your intent just using the water, okay? Now, that's how utilizing water, okay, will do this. Now, a lot of people don't like the term and to use blood, all right? It's always been frowned upon, right, in our society. The use of blood, oh, it's satanic, oh, blah, blah, blah. It's the purest shit you got in your body, all right? It's the purest stuff.
The religion's blood is the liquid of life.
Yes, it is.
Without blood, you don't have life.
You know, if you were to take a woman's menstrual blood and add it to water and put water inside of that, the menstrual blood and the water, you have all of the creation or all of the energy of life. Okay. If you put your, you know, a drop of your blood and mix it into the water in there, okay, and then you spin it around, you become control of your own emotions.
How's
Okay.
that?
Because it's your blood, it's your plasma.
But I'm spinning around, so I will get dizzy.
No, you won't get dizzy because you're already spinning. You don't even realize it. You know, we think that we're stationary, you know, but when you do that and you spin it, you know, you can't mix other GANs and other materials with it. But if you mix blood and your water, or your blood and water together, okay, and spin it, you have all the necessary, all the different types of plasma for flight. You have all the different types of plasma for healing. You have all the different types of energy that are required, all because of a drop of your own blood. Okay.
Okay. That's a
And
good,
so,
good knowledge there.
and what you're creating when you make like CO2 GANs, okay, or CH3 or copper oxide or whatever, you're creating the components that go in your blood.
I got it.
Okay.
You got it.
So, you know, utilizing it is not something to be afraid of or ashamed of. By all means, everybody, use your damn blood. It's yours. Okay. Everybody else is using your blood. I'm sure you go to the doctor and get blood drawn, or you go want to give blood. Okay. Everybody else is using your blood. You might as well use your blood too. Okay.
All right. I will.
So,
I will.
don't be afraid. You know, right now we have the gift of time, guys. Okay. It's not a curse. It's the gift. It's so that you can experiment with your personal powers right now without having the unintended consequences that are resulting from instant manifestation. Okay.
Mike,
Okay,
one question.
Thank you very much.
When you ask about when you say about using your own blood, is that the and you, let's say you spin it, right? Then you use the fills, or you drink it, or just
spin it.
spin it. That's it. And
That's
put
all you got to
your
do.
emotion in it.
Your emotion is already tied. Your proteins, your amino acids, all of this stuff is already tied into your blood. Okay. The only way that this will really work, okay, is if you take, you know, a nano-coated tube connected to your IVs so that you go from your veins, which are nano-coated, okay, to another nano-coated container without coming in contact with the without the elements interacting with it. Okay.
Okay.
So it's got to be a nano-coated tube and a nano-coated needle, okay, that you put in to extract your blood, all right, so that there is no outside forces that are affecting this. Okay. Most people can't do that unless they have a lab, okay? But if you know and understand how to draw blood, all right, you get the tools that you need, you nano-coat it, you put the needle in, you put the other end of the needle where it's inside of your reactor that's already nano-coated, okay? So now you're transferring live plasma that's entered to a plasma container, okay? If it comes in contact with the air, okay, or the atmosphere or things like that, then it's degraded plasma. Yeah.
Okay.
And so, you know, you just add it to water, just regular fresh water, okay? You can also take that med blood, add it to, you know, water or whatever, and dilute it down and spray it on your plants. It's the gift of life, okay? You're not feeding them blood because it's breaking it down. It's already in its plasma form. So you're not feeding it blood, okay? You're just feeding it the energy of life, of creation.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are, you know, oh yeah, you know, it's blood. I don't want to touch it, and ooh, and you know, whatever. It's the gift of life. That's what makes us unique, you know? And, you know, somebody asked in here, do vampires exist? Well, yes, vampires exist. You know,
oh, yes.
they're just, you know, they're the ones that own the blood banks. They're the ones that are, you know, you know, doing all of this. They fit into our society according to the way society will let them fit in.
And I have made also healing pain with the atoms of the oxygen and hydrogen to make water in a form of healing pain.
Okay. Say it
So
again. What
yeah,
do you want to do with it?
no, I didn't connect it yet, but this.
Oh, that's what you're working on.
Yeah, so I'm
That's
just
awesome.
I was experimenting, and I said, okay, why not? No, if I'm putting the stones and things like this, you know, so why not to create the atoms of the oxygen and two hydrogen here, and so that it can flow from the you know, different fields here and get connected to somewhere somehow, and see what happens.
Yes, that'll work. That's absolutely beautiful.
To
You're
see if we
thinking,
can create water.
you are thinking in terms of life and creation. You are a creator, and the ability to think outside of that box, you know, because I'm putting this here, this is going to create oxygen, this is going to create hydrogen. You are telling yourself and you are telling the device what you want it to do. That is your will.
Oh, Mike, thank you.
Okay. Yes, that is your
That's
will
a
at
hug.
work.
That's a hug.
Yes, very much so. Okay. And so when people understand, okay, the different ways that your intention, your will, okay, is being invoked, okay, the wires that you bend, as you bend them, they get hot before you even nanocoat them.
Yeah.
Okay. That getting hot is rearranging the atoms. Okay. The rearranging of the atoms, you open up an aether. Okay. You open up the walls of the plasma and you can talk to it. Okay. With your intention. Okay. So even if you ever decided not to nanocoat your devices, your intent is still staved in that shape in the copper wire.
Mm. That's what I was told by my plasma intelligence too.
Yeah. I mean, it's your intent. And that's really what it boils down to. You can make a whole bunch of 8 devices, okay, the little figure infinity 8 devices, okay, and every single one of them could have a different intent.
Yeah,
One could be for save the children. One could be for save the elderly. One can be to stop Alzheimer's, okay? Your intent is heard universally.
yeah, that's Mike. That's what my plasma intelligence told me. My plasma intelligence told me that if I was to be doing all these devices 20 years ago, perhaps they don't work likewise now. But still, any device, even if the logic is not matching with the physics, you know, still the device can work. Not 20 years ago, not 50 years ago, but at this moment of time, then it's possible that even that I mean 20 years ago, 50 years ago, we just were in the frame of the physics, but now the plasma intelligence told me we are out of that frame. We can create out of the intention, and even if it doesn't match with the physics, it will work out. Is that
Yes, that
correct?
is absolutely true. Okay.
Okay.
If you had made this device 20 years ago, your thinking and the mentality of why you created it, okay, it would have been different because
Yeah.
you wouldn't have had the same knowledge, the same understanding that you have now. Okay. And it's the creativity, the understanding side of it that makes this work right now. And that's you're absolutely correct. 20 years ago, this wouldn't have worked because the understanding of how it works wasn't there.
Yeah.
And now that we have the true understanding of how the metaphysical side of things work along with the physical, okay, knowing that there's opposites of everything, our intent becomes truth.
That's correct. That's what
And so
was
every
important.
device that you guys make, okay, you know, one person could be making an IQ for the intent to heal everybody with Alzheimer's, okay, Alzheimer's. And then you have another one that's for muscular dystrophy, for instance, okay. Your intent was, okay, now as I build this, I'm going to build this, and this is going to feed all of the muscles. This is going to give excess amount of water to the people that are come in contact with this energy field. It's going to feed their bodies. It's going to take away any negative polarity energy and replace it with positive, polarity energy. So basically, you're going to inflate these people with an energy that might make them high.
This is what I do. What I spin the guns and the ashes with the blender stick. I spin it, and then I make my wishes and I put them there. So, and then after I work with them. I mean, I work with the water.
You're doing everything right, Kike.
Thank you so much.
You're doing absolutely everything right. Okay, and I can see your aura, and your heart flower is opening. Okay,
Thank you.
You're attracting the bees or the people to you because of the love, the energy that you're putting off. Okay,
that's the most important thing for me, love, and because people that we have been suffering a lot, there is two possibilities: whether you become really rude against people, or whether you become so much compassionate because you understand suffering and you don't want them to suffer like you have been enduring. So
yes.
the suffering has this beautiful thing that can really turn us into a very beautiful being with a lot of compassion for the sake of others. That we wouldn't allow any more others to suffer anyway, any form, any time, any
And this whole group that you guys have back here, you all have just a massive amount of energy that I can see, coming from you. And I say see it, I mean I can feel it in my heart. And
I can feel you also many times, even out of the screen. I feel it's like your soul, like in the form of intention, that is supporting the group, supporting. It's like I don't know how to say, but it's like a very intense intention that is overflowing everywhere, and then when you focus on that intention, you can see names or figures, you see, something like that.
And it's sometimes it can be a curse, and sometimes it's a blessing. If I go into like a chat room where I've never been before and I start talking about plasma, I get hacked up. I get beat up and chased out of the room, and I just don't want to expend my energy there. And so I created my own world where people have to come to me. You have to ask me, because if you don't ask me, I can't just freely give you the information. Because the information that I give you freely, if you don't want it, you're going to completely reject it. And it would have the opposite effect. Okay. And what you guys were talking about as far as your light city or your plasmatic, city of living in harmonious, togetherness. What you're doing, okay, what you were talking about doing, is that you wanted to create a really nice place that's going to attract these people, right? The Illuminati, the top 1%, right?
That's right, Mike.
Okay. That's what you're doing, is you're creating an attraction. You're creating a magnet for people.
Yeah.
Okay. I will promise you that you will attract all of the egotistical pieces of crap out there. Okay.
But they are our lovely brothers and sisters. They just wronged.
I understand this, but I'm saying it as in to emphasize, okay, that's what we don't like.
Oh,
okay?
Yeah.
Because what you're doing is the same thing that Kesh is doing right now.
Okay.
With his devices, okay, and making it so high end and untouchable for people to buy, okay, that they can't, he's playing on the people that have ego problems.
Mike,
I'm gonna buy it.
Mike, I must go. I'll let you with my friends. I want just to give my thanks to your wife.
Yeah, well,
patiently waiting for us.
Yeah.
We gotta keep going.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We gotta keep going.
Mike, hang on a minute.
For letting me talk. They're saying thank you.
I got one.
Bye.
One response to that. Okay, you say that we're gonna attract some of the world's crappiest people. Right, fine. But is there a way that we, as a group, as a team, could develop some devices that will be
like he said,
like an organ blaster.
No. Wait a minute. I think you misunderstood me.
Like an organ blaster kind of thing. You know, the organ blasters, when you throw it, it's like a love bomb. So the whole place will be surrounded with the energy of love and the highest vibrational frequency. So when these crappy people step in, they have to let go of that cloak of viciousness, the negativity behind. When they step on, they forget that they have taken the role of the dark ones, and they have.
Christian is laughing because he is hearing how much love Crystal is got. Huh?
Yes, you misunderstood me when I said, okay, just because you're going to attract them doesn't mean they're going to leave the same way. Okay.
Yeah.
Cash is attracting these people. He wants them to buy his things. If they want to pay $800 for it, that's fine. They plug in their device, the plasma touches their heart and doesn't mess with their minds. Okay.
Right.
They made a very distinct choice. Okay. Yeah. In this universe, you have to pay right now. You have to pay the piper in order to get out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
That's the world that we live in.
I know.
Okay.
So,
you have to literally pay something.
Yeah.
Okay. Whether it's money, whether it's time, whether it's understanding, energy, love, all of those things. You have to pay something right now. You have to give in order to get. Hold on just a second.
So I'm saying
yes.
here is the
very good. Thank you.
It's
called the equal energy exchange.
Okay.
Okay.
My intention of having the escalating sanctuary field is having all of us, it's going to be our home, it's going to be dotted in the most scenic intersectional ley line, sacred sites in the world. Okay, so it's our home and the 360 of us. And when this people step in, the leaders, the planet, politicians, or who may be they are suddenly remembered who they truly are. And then when they sleep inside the pyramid, and when they sleep in the chalets or whatever, they will be zapped with the energy.
Yeah, but what he's saying is with the e-devices 360 goes less, and it will do the same manifestation, isn't it?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm saying to continue is, okay, now.
So keep the project for us.
Sure. And we're going to put all kinds of newly developed technologies and devices and all that in the escalating sanctuary to finally turn them around. And by the time they're ready to leave the escalating sanctuary, when they're leaving, we would say, hey, presto tango, another enlightened soul has been born.
Pretty much, yes. When you make your device, okay, your setup that I was telling you about, okay, you are going to attract the egotistical people, okay? The people that are, that have issues, okay? They're the assholes, they're the mean people, all right? Because they have an ego problem, all right? They also have pride and fear and hatred and everything else, okay? Being aware that this is what you are intentionally attracting, okay, makes your community a transmutation device for those particular energies. Okay, you don't need extra devices. Okay, you don't need the extra devices because you, if this is going to be where you're living and you're going to be operating it, you are the devices.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Okay. You are the devices. The physical devices, the IQ, is a representation of the energy that's in your soul. It's something physical that you can look at, manipulate, build, work on, make pretty, and adapt to. Okay?
And they know.
And at the same... Go ahead.
Know anyway, with their inner sense and their sensitivities deep inside in their subconscious mind, they know this is going to be good for them. So I don't presume there would be much resistance.
You just got to build it and they will come.
Yeah.
Because you're creating a magnet. And if you make it with the intent that you want to attract these people, okay, because that means that you are more emotionally equipped to deal with somebody who is egotistical or full of pride or full of fear and full of hate, okay? That's what this means, is that means you are a transmutation device.
Right.
You are transmuting. That is what light workers do. And if you're attracting all of the bad things that we don't want into our world to your location, that means that those locations are fewer around the rest of the world.
Gosh, so has it got to be built like Alcatraz?
No, because you want people to come in. You want it to be inviting.
Actually inviting.
Yeah, you want it to be beautiful. You want it to be inviting. You want it to be different. And the only way that you can make it different than anything else on this planet right now that doesn't have to do with money, okay, is by creating an environment that can't be found anywhere else on the planet.
Well, now that's another thought. I don't want the white, pure ink blotter to be blotted with even a tiny spot. So I don't want any contamination in the sanctuary. No. I know I'm going to go about doing that with the transmutation thingy.
You're just transmuting energy, okay? And as you transmute more energy and you understand what you're doing, your halo and your inner soul begin to shine even more.
Thank you.
Okay? And that's where you become like the rainbow monks, okay? Or the rainbow warriors, as they call it, okay? Which is another prophecy that's all tying together, okay? Because your energy is so strong pushing outwards, it creates the rainbow effect, just like if it's raining and you have the sun, okay? The only difference is you're the sun and everything else around you would have the perspective that there's a rainbow around you, okay? And so you guys are moving forward in wonderful leaps and bounds, and you have some beautiful graphics, okay? And would love for I would love for you guys to be able to complete this and get it modeled so that, you know, you can utilize it in the, I say, the cheapest and most efficient way possible, okay? But those that donate to this cause, okay, is what is called paying the piper, okay? Even though they might be giving to you with the condition that this building is going to be built with that money, okay? That's not considered unconditional funds, okay? They have to be able to say, you know what? I don't care if you went out and spent $10 million on a ship, okay? And you didn't let anybody else on that ship, okay? But you spent $10 million on it, they wouldn't care. That's what unconditional means, okay? That means that they trust you enough to utilize the money in any way, shape, or form possible. That's why I don't suggest that you guys raise funds for specific items like a pyramid, okay? To build just the pyramid or to just build the sanctuary or whatever. It needs to be an entire picture of funding, okay? In order for it to be classified, I guess, as unconditional, okay? The details are not dictated, okay? It's just the overall, you know, just like in my teachings, okay? I'll give you the structure of it, all right? The quad cores times, you know, 6 of them, right? That's the structure. Now all the paint and the color and the plants and everything is the number of twists that you put into your device, okay? Don't let anybody dictate the number of twists that you put into it, okay? Don't let them dictate the colors or where you want the plants to be or whatever else. They can dictate the structure, but they can't dictate the details, all right? And that's how you're able to keep your money as unconditional rather than having a conditional donation.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that too. So I think we can end today because
it's Sunday and you need to be with your family, and your wife has graciously allowed us to borrow your time.
Well,
leave it to friends. Yeah. So.
Thank you.
Go ahead and tell her.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye for now. Nice seeing you. Bye.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Much love. And I hope that I answered a lot of questions that you may have had in here.
Oh,
And
you did.
yes, and please make this available on online. At least share it with Lori or Dora so that you can share it. Kike, sorry. If you can post a link of once it's rendered and, you know, things like that. We'll get it up on the Infinity page. I know I talked about a lot of stuff today. So.
Okay. Certainly, Mike. Thank you so much. Thank you, Laurie.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Lots of love.